T-Bob, welcome back to T-Town, man. I hope you're having a great day.
Yo, Ryan, what's up, man? I am having a great day, so thank you for that.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, we're like doing LSU hour here with Coach Pete Jenkins and yourself. So hopefully Coach L will send me some Cajun food in exchange for all the publicity we're giving LSU here in T-Town today.
Well, I'm working on a deal with Hebert's specialty meat, so maybe I'll send you a stuffed chicken.
Ooh, now hold on now. Now listen, we love football, but we love food even more so. You got to explain. What are you doing now?
Oh, I don't know. There's a local company here that I may start doing some work with, but it's Hebert's specialty meat. They just do a bunch of, specialty meats.
I got
It's
you.
really good stuff, though. Like a lot of like different stuffed chickens and everything. That's kind of their main thing that they're known for, but they got a lot.
Okay. Now, how good are you on the grill? We know about the football side of things, but like if you're in front of the grill or the oven, how good are you there?
I'm pretty good. I have gotten a bit of a cheat though, where I got a new house a few months back, and as a housewarming gift, my father-in-law got me a Green Mountain grill, a Daniel Boone, and so that's a wood pellet smoker. And wood pellet smokers, it's like cheating. All you do is you just put on the temperature, and it feeds itself, regulates itself, and stays at that temperature. So we've done some brisket lately. We did some pulled pork, about 15 pounds each time, and they have come out spectacular because it's not like green egg or minding the fire. Like you have to do nothing except for put the temperature and watch it.
T-Bob, I want to carry you to college football, and I want to go back to your senior season there at LSU for just a couple of minutes. My favorite college game of all time was when you guys came to Tuscaloosa, and I know it didn't work out for Alabama, but that 2011 LSU-Alabama game, I looked up in the sky, and I thank God for unanswered prayers because I'd always wanted to be a football player, was never big enough, and I realized on the field, watching that game, the sidelines, that I didn't really want to be a football player, and that God knew me better than I knew myself, because that was beast against beast, my friend, here in Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Yeah, look, that was a great game of the century, all that. The run up to it was pretty insane. I wonder though, Ryan, would you feel so positively about it had things not ended the way that they did?
Yeah, you got me. Sure. It took what happened and made it a right down in New Orleans, but it was just a great game. I liked the tension of that game, that it was one touchdown. If somebody gave it up, they were probably going to lose. It was the pressure of that magnitude that you could feel the tension. You could cut it with a knife on the sidelines.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the it's a game that now just stylistically looks like it's so far in the rear view. This is something that even Coach Saban addressed at SEC Media Days. In 2011, I think they gave up like 8 points a game. Maybe we were at like 9 or 10. Now, if you give up 16 points a game, you will rank like first in the SEC and be up amongst the leaders in the country. So it's a game to me that is almost caught between eras, right? It was a very old school type of game, right on the edge of a new era of football, and it was a ton of fun to watch. And as you said, I think there was like 40-something NFL players on the field that night. I think the number that I saw was maybe 43. So a ton of talent involved between those two teams.
T-Bob, carry us in that locker room, because I can tell you the locker room here, and the fans don't like to hear this, but it's the truth. If you put a player on a polygraph and you said, what is the biggest rival game on the schedule, 90% of them would say it's LSU. Now, the fans want it to be Auburn, but it's not. It's not Auburn. You talk to the players, it's LSU. Jonathan Allen told us many, many times, talking about LSU and Alabama, this slugfest. Is it the same in that locker room there in Baton Rouge?
Well, I think that it definitely, yes, the Alabama game means the most to LSU fans. Now, it's become a bit of now it's starting to take on a bit of a life of its own, and the pressure to win goes bigger and bigger each year because it has been so long. It's been since the night in 2011 that LSU has beaten Alabama. So like, yeah, but I think that also a lot of that is born of function, right? If you are LSU and you want to accomplish your goals, Alabama is the main team that is standing in your way. For a while, LSU was that to Alabama. I don't think they're that consistently anymore. I think it's kind of a rotating list. But absolutely from the LSU side, um, you know that you have to beat Alabama if you want to accomplish championships. They're like the gatekeeper a bit.
Let me ask you, when you look at this new LSU locker room, that thing from a distance looks simply amazing. What's it like? Have you had a chance to go through the facilities?
Yeah, we went through yesterday for a little media tour. It's really nice. It's state of the art stuff. Upgrades to all the weight rooms, meeting rooms, the new nutrition center with the executive chef, whatever. The locker room that everybody's talking about was that sleeping pod design. I think is really smart because I think it is like rooted in pragmatism, right? It's very function over form. Or I guess it's a bit of both, but it's ultimately rooted in being functional for what players need. I'll be interested to see like when the next big locker room update comes, do they look at maybe doing something similar? My favorite part is something that a few NFL teams have, and LSU saying they're the first college team to have it, which is a giant walkthrough room where they basically got like 20 yards of a full football field there, and one of the walls is just a giant screen, and you can put up defenses on that screen, and then you walk through and you make your adjustments accordingly. So it's a great, very kind of low barrier of entry way to get your team some mental reps without having to go on the field, without having to worry about lining up the scout team. It's impressive.
Let me take you to that Texas game, week number 2. Listen, I hope the SEC represents, and I hope LSU goes to Austin, Texas, and can, for once and for all, kind of shut up the Longhorns for a little bit. Do you think LSU has the team to go to Austin and to lay it on the Longhorns there in Austin?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely. I mean, I think they're favored by a couple now, so it's basically a coin flip. But it does give you an idea of the team that people think that LSU will be bringing to bear to go into Texas and be favored. I think that the question that LSU has to answer is, well, can the offense finally be modernized? Will we finally see a modern attack for the first time since like 2007, maybe even all the way back to 2006 with Jimbo Fisher? I think that answer is yes. But the reason why it's so important for LSU to prove that is because when you look at Texas and you look at maybe where they could be weak and exploit it, that's a defense that I think lost 8 starters off of last year. LSU returns 8 starters on offense. They return 8 starters on defense. So there's a reason why LSU's favored in every game on their schedule this season except for Alabama. And that's because I think they have the potential to be really damn good. The only thing that gives me pause is you're on the road, and that's early in the year to go into a crazy environment like that and try to win. And Sam Ehlinger, anytime you have a really good quarterback like that, they can sometimes make something out of nothing. I think this LSU defense is going to be stellar, but they're going to have their hands full with Sam Ehlinger, and old Dave Aranda's crew's got to step up, and they got to figure out a way of shutting down Texas.
T-Bob, when you look at LSU for just a couple of minutes, this Alabama game that CBS chose not to put on primetime, they went with Georgia Notre Dame earlier in September, which by default will not leave them the option for primetime. I still think this is going to be a big-time game. I think both of these teams could be undefeated going into that November the 9th game here inside Bryant-Denny Stadium.
I think it absolutely has the potential to be that. I think that the problem on selling that on a national scale is we've seen it be that a couple of times here recently, and it hasn't necessarily meant that the game's been any closer. And that's the real problem, right? Like, as good as I think this LSU team to be in, I think it's New Year's 6 or bust for them. But, like, can I sit here and say that I expect them to beat Alabama after they lost 29-0 at home last year, and that was a pretty good LSU team? No, I cannot. Yeah, I mean, you can't form that argument. There's just no solid basis on which to try to debate that. So unfortunately, look, I think LSU's moving in the right direction. But like, I think it's a process to get to somewhere like Alabama is, right? It does not happen in a couple of years. It takes a lot of steps along the way. So I'm almost in kind of I use a lot of Roman Empire analogies when discussing Alabama, and I feel a bit like one of these conquered barbarian states where, you kind of been ground under the heel for so long that you've almost accepted it a bit. I'm in a bit of a holding pattern. Like, I expect nothing when it comes to that game, but sure, I'll hope for the best.
T-Bob, what do you expect from Auburn in 2019?
I don't know, dude. I mean, it all depends on if they follow the Malzahn golden rule, right? The problem with Gus Malzahn is every time you think they're going to be good, then they end up really bad. And every time you think they're going to be bad, then they end up really good. Like, when he's supposed to get fired, that's when he pulls it out. And then when he gets the extension, that's when he goes south again. So I honestly have no clue. They're so mercurial. But if I had to guess, I do think they're going to be middle of the road SEC. I don't think they're going to be very good, and I think Gus Malzahn is on the hottest seat in the SEC.
T-Bob, final question. Let me bring it back to Alabama for just a couple of minutes. When you look at college football and the way that you see it from a former player perspective, what do you see in Tua Tagovailoa?
I've said this since last year, and I've had some people who know quarterback far better than me basically kind of support this unprompted, but he sees the entire field better than any college quarterback I've seen. I mean, in terms of like processing information, knowing, okay, well, this guy's hips turn that way and the safety's here and they're right here, so this is where I'm going. Like his ability to dissect and understand what the defense is showing him and see everything, right? Not just the first option, the second option, but all the way through the fourth. Like, it is unlike any college quarterback I've ever seen. So you combine that with just the talent level of Alabama, you combine that with his ability to throw and to run, and then, like, on top of it, he's just like a really good kid. It's so annoying how perfect this kid seems to be. And, you become really depressed if you're anybody that, that is not an Alabama fan, because you feel like, Alabama was already pretty damn good when they had, like, A.J. McCarron and stuff at quarterback and Greg McElroy. Like, why do you have to go and give him, like, a Heisman surety?
Gotcha. Well, T-Bob, let me say this. We were a college football show, but I'm willing to put this show against any other college football show out there. We feature more offensive linemen than any show in the country. like we have an appreciation for the big nasties, okay? I mean, we feature 3 or 4 minimum a week of offensive linemen, man. We give you guys the spotlight because without you guys, those quarterbacks would be standing upright.
No, I mean, just look at, like, where's the biggest separation point between LSU and Alabama? It's not the skill positions. Those are, relatively close. It's on the line. It's Quinnen Williams last year just wreaking havoc and LSU not being able to move the ball. I mean, that's where LSU has to play the most catch-up, and they're not there yet. But I think they're moving in the right direction.
Hey, T-Bob, it's good to be able to catch up. 104.5 ESPN there in Baton Rouge. With all you guys covering LSU and certainly spending a little time here in Tuscaloosa. We appreciate the conversation. I enjoyed connecting with you last week at SEC Media Days, and keep the beard going, man. I like the beard game. It's strong, very strong.
Well, spoken from a beard master, that means a lot. So thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, T-Bob. See you, man.
Later.